When the snowpack cracked like distant artillery, Beverly Clean actually tried shouting HOA bylaws at it. She bellowed over the thunderous boom, a lit Roman candle gripped in her mittened fist. I am the president of the Frost Pine Bluffs Owners Association. This is a designated celebration slope. Her voice vanished under sound. A low rumble rolled through the valley and made every window on our street tremble. Up on the ridge, a bright white fracture sliced across the loaded slope before the entire mountainside began to slide. Neighbors froze mid-toast in their driveways. Kids dropped sparklers. One board member whispered, "Is that normal?" Spoiler, no. Half a minute prior, Beverly had been lecturing everyone about how our HOA overrules paranoid avalanche advisories. Now she stood dead center in the cul-de-sac, watching several thousand tons of snow accelerate toward her New Year's event. I was already in my neon orange jacket, slamming my palm against the emergency air horn I'd mounted to the light post. Basements. Now! I yelled, voice cracking. The sheriff's truck, invited by me, just in case, fired up its sirens. The deputy's face drained the chalk as the avalanche widened, swallowing the drainage in a churning white sheet. Beverly remained planted on the compacted common area snow, fireworks sputtering weakly in the freezing air while a roaring wall of snow barreled toward her block. My name is Oliver Kane, 39, structural engineer and part-time ski patroller. I moved to Frost Pine Bluffs, an upscale alpine development perched above a ski town in Colorado, because the brochure promised modern mountain living, and the realtor insisted I'd love the scenery and powdered days. She also claimed the HOA handled everything. That last sentence was a warning disguised as reassurance. Frost Pine Bluffs clings to a mountainside like a luxury barnacle. We have steep driveways, mandatory deep green siding, and a homeowners association obsessed with a unified winter aesthetic. Enter Beverly Clean, HOA president and self-declared sovereign of snowfall. Late 50s platinum bob, outerwear worth more than my Subaru, and the unwavering confidence of someone who thinks the mountain is an accessory to her lifestyle. Her throne room was a hilltop clubhouse, its walls lined with framed copies of CC and RS and elevated alpine art. Her email signature read, HOA President, Frost Pine Bluffs, Curator of Community Harmony and Aesthetic Snow Management. She adored saying our slope like she'd purchased a mountain using a premium credit card. My unforgivable offense from day one was simply knowing more about snow than she did, and having the nerve to act on it. Our first showdown was over flags. I installed a small blue and orange marker pole at the top of my driveway, completely standard in snow country, so the plow could see where the edge. Wouldn't shear off my mailbox. Beverly showed up 10 minutes later. "Oliver," she said, smiling with the tense cheer of a dentist about to deliver bad news. "We don't do steaks here. They disrupt the pristine snowfield aesthetic." "It's a driveway marker," I replied, "for the plows. It's literally in the county handbook. We have our own guidelines." She handed me a glossy booklet. "Please review Section 12, Snowpack Preservation." I skimmed it later. It was unhinged. Highlights included, residents shall not place markers, fencing, or barriers that visually interrupt the continuous snow blanket. Roof rakes are discouraged because natural snow loads enhance the alpine chalet aesthetic. Avalanche warning signs require HOA design approval for font and color. I emailed her politely, attaching the county avalanche hazard map. Our continuous snow blanket was clearly labeled as a runout zone. Beverly replied that our engineer with the developer says it's safe. Also, avalanches are a backcountry issue. We are a curated residential environment. I was the engineer who replaced that engineer. This was my field. When the snowpack turned unstable, big storm, warm snap, then more snow, I quietly installed a low-profile snow fence and a small deflection berm on my property line. All legal, all designed to break and divert a slide if it reached us. 2 days later, a violation appeared in my inbox. Unapproved earthworks on community slopes. Removed within 48 hours. I requested a hearing. She scheduled it for 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, then never sent a Zoom link. Instead, She began pacing around my house with a clipboard, jotting notes about unsanctioned path cutting, where I'd shoveled access to my propane tank. She scolded my neighbor for wearing a bright orange jacket because it clashes with our winter palette. The town issued an avalanche bulletin for our ridge. Beverly forwarded it with the comment, for context only, HOA policies govern resident activities. I had never seen someone attempt to override gravity with a PDF. The fuse was lit when Beverly announced the inaugural Frost Pine Fire and Snow Spectacular. She pitched it at the board meeting like an unwanted TED Talk. We'll have mulled wine, artisanal esmores, and a fireworks display on the upper common slope, she beamed. It will showcase us as a premier winter destination. I raised my hand. You can't shoot fireworks on a loaded north-facing slope during an active avalanche warning. That's not just reckless, it's... Oliver, she cut me off, voice sharp. This is exactly the alarmist energy I've been talking about. I've consulted with our engineer. Your engineer designs hot tubs, I said, not snowpacks. She ignored me completely and charged ahead, applying for a town fireworks permit using, as I later discovered, some spectacularly creative geography. She described the launch zone as flat parkland instead of a start zone perched above residential roofs. The fire marshal denied it. Too steep, too unstable, too dangerous. So Beverly did what any catastrophically confident person would do. She held the event anyway, calling it a private HOA celebration and insisting the town had no jurisdiction over internal festivities. She moved the launch site higher up the slope to capture clean snowfield photos. That snowfield was, in every avalanche model, the worst possible place to disturb. I saw the setup that afternoon. Racks of consumer fireworks stabbed straight into the snowpack at a convex roll, where the slope steepened. Beverly's assistant posted an Instagram story. Avalanche who? Hashtag Snowpick is my runway. I sent one final email. CCNG the HOA, the county avalanche forecaster, the town, and the sheriff. Subject: imminent risk from fireworks on avalanche start zone. To my surprise, the sheriff actually called. Is it really that dangerous? Let me put it like this. I said, if you're coming up tonight, don't park in the cul-de-sac. By the time the party began, I'd already done everything possible. I knocked on my closest neighbor's doors and said, if I blow the air horn, go to your basement. No questions. I gently advised them to park on the far side of the loop behind my deflection berm, not in the main runout. I couldn't stop. It was Beverly's spectacle, but I was still trying to keep it from killing half the neighborhood. By 7:30 p.m., the snow glowed electric blue under the floodlights. Neighbors huddled by propane heaters in the cul-de-sac. Every eye fixed on the slope where Beverly, draped in white faux fur like some deranged snow monarch, stood holding a lighter. The sheriff's truck rolled in just as she sparked the first fuse. He'd clearly shown up expecting to issue a stern warning, snap a few photos, and head home. Then the first fireworks detonated, sending concussion waves through the top layer of snow. Nothing happened. Beverly pivoted, smug. See? Gorgeous and safe. She lit more. A whole row exploded in staccato blasts. Thunk, thunk, thunk into the slab. Silence fell. For a breath. All we heard was a whisper of sparklers and the crunch of boots. Then the mountain whumped, a hollow, massive sound like someone hitting a house-sized drum. A fracture shot across the face of the slope. I didn't wait. I slammed the air horn and yelled, "Basements, go!" The sheriff's expression snapped to terror. "Everybody inside now!" He barked into his radio. We got an active slide. The snow began creeping, then accelerating. Trees twisted and vanished. A turbulent white mass thundered down the drainage toward the block, and Beverly, standing dead center on the pristine snowpack she defended from my ugly fences, finally realized the mountain wasn't bound by her bylaws. She tried to run. The sheriff grabbed her and dragged her toward my side of the loop, toward the berm I'd built. The avalanche smashed into the lower slope and fanned outward, guided by rock outcrops and, critically, the subtle earthwork along my property line. The main flow surged around my berm and snow fence, diverting away from the cluster of houses where I'd told people to move their cars. It obliterated the celebration gazebo Beverly demanded we build last year, shredding it into splinters, then swallowed the ornamental boulder she once threatened to find a neighbor for leaning against. The far side of the cul-de-sac took a heavy dusting and compressed debris block that shoved a BMW into a snowbank and kinked a street lamp. Terrifying, pricey, but survivable. No fatalities. Not even a broken bone. Just luck and a little snow science. The worst destruction hit HOA property in Beverly's front porch, which disappeared under 6 feet of tightly packed irony. When the slide settled, the only person trapped waist-deep in the densest debris was Beverly, shrieking, "This is common land. The Avalanche will answer for this." In the aftermath, Frost Pine Bluffs transformed from exclusive community to regional cautionary tale. The sheriff's department opened an investigation. So did the town. So did the Avalanche Center. Every one of them asked the same thing. You warned them, right? I turned over the emails, the hazard maps, the fire marshal's denial, the party flyer literally advertising HOA fireworks on the upper slope. Town can't stop us. The Avalanche Center's report was not delicate. It used phrases like entirely preventable event, gross disregard for posted hazard information, and unauthorized fireworks directly contributed to slab release. Local news aired helmet cam footage from a neighbor who filmed the fireworks and accidentally caught Beverly proclaiming, as HOA president, "I overrule the Avalanche Bulletin. We set our own safety standards here." The clip went viral. Within a week, Beverly faced citations for illegal fireworks and reckless endangerment. The HOA's insurance company filed a civil suit to recover payouts for the crushed gazebo, destroyed street lamp, and mangled common area. 3 homeowners sued her personally after their properties got buried thanks to her demand that they remove their snow fences to restore the view. Her defense, that this was a community decision made as president, collapsed instantly when every board member testified. She bullied them and threatened fines. The judge, apparently a former ski patroller, peered over his glasses and told her, "Ms. Clean, neither your title nor your aesthetic preferences exempt you from the laws of physics." The town revoked Frost Pine Bluff self-managed safety privileges. The county required an independent engineer for every future decision involving snow, slopes, or anything heavier than a snowman. I got a consulting contract out of it. Beverly got something different, a permanent restraining order preventing her from having any authority over safety, infrastructure, or emergency planning in residential communities. For someone who lived to dictate shovel direction, it was exile. The final cost landed hard. Beverly owed $75,000 in fines for fireworks and reckless endangerment. The insurance suit added $120,000 more. The 3 homeowners totaled $90,000. That's $285,000. When the judge read aloud, Beverly's face cycled from red to white to a purple I didn't know humans could achieve. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish on a dock. She finally croaked. "This is a witch hunt. I was protecting property values." The judge replied, "You were protecting nothing but your ego, Ms. Clean." Court dismissed. Beverly left the courtroom a broken figure. Her reign as Empress of Snow ended under a mountain of legal debt taller than the avalanche pile that swallowed her porch.